everyone! Wow, I didn't even think this old chestnut would have dredged up. Zaunstar did a video on, it was mostly like his take on antivaxxers because he did a charity for Doctors Without Borders, which I couldn't really see because I was busy with other things, unfortunately. Note to self, remember my yearly donation to Doctors Without Borders and double it in honor of my father because he would donate to them too. Anyway, enough about that. Basically, he was talking about a little bit about the anti-vaxxer movement because apparently they're working on an Ebola vaccine, which is kind of awesome. And he also talked about PETA's little thing about dairy and autism, where they're saying, that it causes autism, essentially. Um, yeah. I do have to correct him that old chestnut's been around for a few years. For me, that's like, oh yeah, that stupid thing. It never really got the engine going that the anti-vaxxer movement did. But yeah, it's been around for a little while, very long time. But it is another. I'm kind of wondering why autism of all things gets these weird things. I mean, there's one autism group, the one with like the blue ribbon or blue coloring, blue puzzle piece symbol. I forget the exact name of it. That seems to think they can cure autism and all this weird stuff, and they're anti-vaxxers from what I've heard. I don't know like the exact thing, but for some reason, autism is one of these weird things that nobody gets. A lot of people self-diagnose as, or they try to find random causes. And I'm going to reiterate this again. Autism is a genetic disorder. That's it. It's a genetic, neurological disorder. It's not like cerebral palsy. It's not like ALS. It doesn't cause any real physical detriment to movement. It may affect your hearing. It may, like, making it hypersensitive, or your smell, making it hypersensitive. It may affect a few physical things, but it doesn't affect your movement that much. It mostly affects how you process things mentally. For example, most people are very good at picking up most social cues, even the most basic ones. I'm not. I have to tell people if I'm doing something stupid, please tell me, and I will say it upfront and personal. I do something stupid, tell me. I don't hide my autism because I don't see a point. It's not an excuse, but it should kind of shape how you handle things with me. And to be perfectly honest, most people, once you tell them, and you're fairly high functioning at least, they're pretty good at handling it, because, it's basically at that point like handling another person, as long as you're not being a basic asshole. Like, I know how not to be an asshole, it's just, some things I don't know, or I forget, or I actually have to ask, why? Actually, am I doing this? Then there are some things I just really can't do no matter how hard I try. Oh, I could tell you the story of the futile attempt of teaching me how to write properly with a frickin' pen and paper. Yeah, if anyone's gonna advocate using a computer for everything, it's gonna be me. Oh boy. Signatures are understandable and that's it. That's all I can do. And I had to relearn how to sign my name when I got married. Oh, that was not fun. Let's see, what else? Why did I lose my train of thought after that? Oh, yeah, I was also thinking, of course, yes, there are kids with low-functioning autism. They're a little more, they need a lot more care. The thing is if you find the right, I'm using treatments as lack of a better term, it's more like, it's called occupational therapy. Basically, you get a professional to help teach them certain things, teaching them how to talk if they're nonverbal, or a way of communicating if they're nonverbal, teaching them how to act, teaching them how to tie their shoes. Like, some of these are people my age with the capacity, the social capacity of a 5-year-old. And that's very likely, and that's not very common from what I've seen. Or if it is, they usually don't. They usually end up institutionalized at that point because they can't function in the real world, and that's very sad. Um, but with some teaching, they can at least be somewhat functional if you deal with it properly. And this is what makes me wonder about all this. Autism is a scary thing because it's one of those disabilities that doesn't have a cut and dried way of handling it. I think that's why it's so scary, is you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know how you're going to handle it, because literally every case I've seen is completely different. Like, I'm considered one of the highest functioning autistic people anyone can meet. Because, honestly, if I tell people I have autism, they look at me and go, I can't fucking tell. Either, like, you have it, are you sure? Like, yeah, I was diagnosed multiple times. Then there's friends who I have that are verbal, but they're not going to get married. They're not going to have a lot of the things I do. They're either in a group home or they're institutionalized for a different reason, unfortunately. A suicide attempt after his father died, to be perfectly honest. I'm not going to mince around words here. And, he didn't quite understand why he did it, but, pretty much all of us could figure it out. And then there are those that they're never going to talk. They're never going to even get the chance to work because they're that low functioning. And the parent could have done everything they could for the kid, and they're going to have to take care of them for the rest of their lives. And who knows what's going to happen after the parent dies. And, things like that are fucking terrifying for some parents. It could be that your kid is permanently in your house because you can't have them out in the real world, or it could be your kid is essentially normal with a few glitches. You can't tell, and I understand. That is fucking terrifying for a parent. That is probably the scariest thing a parent can go through. And honestly, I can sympathize with that 100%. Not easy for the kid either, but I can imagine what my mother, her first reactions when she found out what I was, I can imagine how my father reacted, but, they persevered, they fought, they did everything they could, and they got pretty damn lucky. And I got pretty damn lucky as a result, too. And, when parents get scared, they get desperate. And they'll latch on to anything that might maybe give them a reason, give them hope, give them a way to prevent this. Which is why some parents probably did latch on to the PETA thing. I'll be perfectly honest, I probably would have been the easiest kid to do the PETA thing with, because after I got older, I stopped drinking milk because I thought it was a baby drink. Now I just don't like the taste. I can honestly say this, but I probably, as a little kid, I avoided cheese. The only dairy thing I really ate was ice cream, and I didn't get it very often as a kid either, so, that changed as I got older, mostly, so I would have been very easy with that. Well, and butter, and even today, I don't like margarine and shit like that. They're horrible. They taste horrible. But otherwise, I would have been fairly easy to do that with. But that's just one thing. My But and my parents didn't believe that. For one thing, they were meat eaters too. My dad liked making burgers, and for another thing, my parents had half a brain, essentially. They weren't really known for panicking either like that. They would do what they had to get it to work. And, they would have a support system. My But, I can see parents freaking out like that. Autism is not a light diagnosis. I mean, you would think something like Down syndrome would be worse, but you probably can't even tell in utero if the kid's going to have autism or not. This is one of those things where it's going to sneak up on you, and once it's there, you have to figure out what to do with it. So, yeah, I do understand that this is a scary thing for most parents. And, I've been seeing things now where kids are getting bullied that have autism, and my God, it doesn't surprise me because, yeah, kids are going to bully kids with autism. It happened to me. It's shitty, but it happens, and it doesn't always happen on school grounds, so the teachers can't do anything about it. Some kids can be assholes at that age, and the weird kid, which is what the autistic kid tends to be, is the biggest target, unfortunately. And yes, it would be good to address the bullying, and honestly, I would address the bullying. That's pretty damn important. But unfortunately, there is more to it. You're going to have to teach the kid to essentially defend themselves. One of the traits of autism, like it or not, is naivety. I am a very trusty person even to this day. I give everyone at least one chance. And now it's actually a nice little protective barrier. Long story short, most people who go psycho in our group, which is very rare, but it has happened, I tend not to be the target because I'm not seen as a threat. And I think they instinctively know that in order for me to be a threat, they have to threaten me first. And they're not stupid enough to do that. But I will reach out to them. I'm seen as a good person. But as a kid, naivety gets you in trouble. A lot of trouble. I can't tell you how many times I've come home crying from school because of how big an asshole kids are, and because they took advantage of how stupid I was, essentially. Well, not stupid, but trusting. The only reason I didn't lose it is because my parents told me that it is a good trait. I just need to learn to modify it so I don't get taken advantage of. I'm trusting, but I ain't giving a Nigerian prince my money. Because my parents, you have to teach autistic kids that not everyone is as honest as they are. What they have is a good trait, but not everyone is going to have that trait, and sometimes you have to not use that good trait. That's the other thing. I can be brutally honest sometimes. And sometimes that's not the best route. And I had to be taught this. So you have to teach kids this, and you have to teach them, especially with autism, because it's one of those social things we can't pick up on easily. That seems to be a universal one of the few universal ones I've seen. Like, there was an autistic kid who was going to do the AS challenge, the Ice Bucket Challenge, and they ended up pouring, like, all this horrific stuff on him instead. Which, if my parents found out about it, the parents of those kids would have been torn apart. They just would have been ripped the fuck apart. I would have been given a shower. I would have been crying. And I would have been given so much comfort. My parents said, you were doing the right thing. Those guys are assholes. A lot of people online are agreeing with that, which gives me a little bit of hope as people are seeing this and are fucking disgusted by it. But, my parents would have been going, like, full-on protective. And I would, too. But the parents should also teach the kid, next time they say, oh, let's do this, check the bucket first. Say, I want to see the bucket. And if the kids ask why, say, because I got burned last time and got shit poured on my head. Well, maybe not shit if you don't want them to curse. Like, say you got bad stuff poured on your head and you'd rather not have that happen again. And if they refuse, say, then no, I'm not doing it. And don't let yourself get pressured into it. Walk away. Tell them to find another patsy. And if they force me, then it's assault and they're going to get in more trouble. So, by force, I mean dump it on their head anyway. See, that's not being that's the way to teach them. You're still saying, I might do it, but let me see the bucket. You're still being somewhat trusting, but you're making sure you're not putting your trust in the wrong place. And so, of course, there are some places you can't do that. That's when you go one shot, and then you're done. If you screw this up big time, like not little stupid things like forgetting your birthday, I'm talking big things. You have to teach your kids that. Trust them, but once they screw up, don't trust them again. Or they have to re-earn your trust if you really want them as a friend. And go from there. It's a very hard thing. It is a very hard thing. And I understand that. I understand that completely. But reacting with anti-vaccination and anti-dairy movements isn't the way to do it. In fact, that's sending a different message. That's sending your kid a message that they're a mistake. And with an autistic kid, if they do understand the message, because some may not, but if they do understand the message, that is the worst thing you could send to them. I'm not even kidding. If my parents did that to me, I'd be completely broken. It's not a good message to send. Like the PETA one I see is a little more benign because they're against any animals anyway. They're vegans, So any excuse not to eat dairy, it's a little more benign to me. It's still stupid and it's PETA, so, But, the dairy thing is just basic pseudoscience. And people say things like red dye do it, which makes me facepalm even more. So, that's PETA. I kind of just ignore them at this point. The anti-vaxxer movement pisses me off because it's basically saying you're better off dead than autistic. Yeah. Better off dead than autistic. No. That's not a good message to send to your kid, okay? That's really not a good message to send to your kid. That's like one of the worst messages you could send to your kid, thinking on it. And like I said in Zaunstar's comments, these movements are led by basically models with more silicon in their boobs than brains in their head, alright? These are not intelligent people. I'm sorry, Jenny McCarthy is not smart. Pamela Anderson is not a smart person. They're not. Name one intelligent thing that came out of their heads. And this isn't dumb blonde jokes either, alright? My mother was a blonde and she was intelligent, okay? This has nothing to do with hair color. This has everything to do with the fact these are not intelligent people. And you're listening to them over somebody with a fucking degree, half a brain, and I don't know, works with this shit every day? And yeah, there are bad doctors out there too. Even the worst doctor I've ever had would think these two bimbos are idiots, alright? And that's sad. And I'll be honest, if anyone I really liked said the same exact thing, I'd call him out in a heartbeat. And I'd lose respect for them. I used to be a big Jim Carrey fan. Then he became an anti-vaxxer. I refuse to watch a Jim Carrey movie now. And I loved The Mask. I loved the second Ace Ventura movie. I liked the first Ace Ventura movie. I liked Batman Forever. Was it Forever? Yeah, it was Batman Forever. I liked that movie. It was campy as fuck, but it was fun. But I refuse to watch them now. I will not watch them. I refuse to because of Jim Carrey becoming an anti-vaxxer. Okay? I thought Ben Stein was funny. I loved Ben Stein's money. He became a creationist? Fuck Ben Stein. I was usually neutral to Tom Cruise until the whole Scientology thing, and I now refuse to watch anything with Tom Cruise. I used to love The Simpsons. Now, like 90% of the cartoons I used to watch, I can't because of Nancy Cartwright being a Scientologist. You know, once I lose respect for a celebrity, that's it. I'm done with them. I don't want anything to do with them. I refuse to do anything with them, and my friends kind of think I'm nuts, but this is my personal belief. Anti-vaxxers are the biggest ones for me. I mean, if you'd given me a choice between a Jim Carrey movie and a Simpsons episode that I'd have to watch full commercial, I'd probably end up watching the Simpsons episode. It would be a really hard choice, and I'd look for the neither button. But I would have to go to the Simpsons episode because the anti-vaxxer movie pisses me off that much. To me, it is that freaking insulting. And I have a personal thing against Scientology because they tried to kidnap my brother-in-law. Think about that. They beat someone who tried to kidnap my brother-in-law, who I like. Well then, congratulations, anti-vaxxers. You're probably on the top of my hit list. It's just, again, I understand it's scary. This is not a safe diagnosis comparatively. This is probably one of the worst non-fatal diagnoses you can give a kid. I'm going to be honest. This is probably one of the worst due to its unpredictability. Because, I'm sorry, and I'll be honest, I was actually nonverbal when I first started out. I was low functioning. I was the lowest of the low. So nobody would have seen this coming. There was no way anyone would have predicted I'd be on a YouTube channel ranting about this like a normal person. Well, okay, YouTube, normal, what's that? But here I am, talking about it. Telling you what I think. Scary thought. It really is a matter of parenting. This is a disability that's handled by parenting, unfortunately. And it's not an easy one. There is no pill. There is no cure. There is no one answer. You need therapy. You need to do everything in your power to help your kid. It can get expensive. You have to get experimental sometimes. I'm not even joking about that. I tell people when I was a kid I was a fucking guinea pig. I don't say that as a joke. I really was a fucking guinea pig. And it's not easy. It's not. But you know what? If you're able to help your kid get to a point where they can function in society, or if they're just a little better than when they first got the diagnosis, you did a damn fine job, and you ought to be very proud of yourself. You ought to be puffing up with pride. You deserve Parent of the Year for that, okay? This is, like, people talk about parents who take care of Down syndrome kids and all that stuff. And this is why I won't make fun of Palin about being a grandmother to a kid with Down syndrome. I won't touch that like a lot of people do, because I understand that that's not an easy one either. You know, is she a parent or a grandparent to it? I don't know, but I'll give her props. At least she's trying. May not be the best parent in the world, but at least she's fucking trying in that case. But autism is actually much harder because the other thing is nobody can tell unless they, see the kid act a certain way or if they're told. So a lot of parents may think this kid is a brat because they're having an actual meltdown instead of just, whining because they're not getting a candy bar. I should explain that, shouldn't I, what the meltdowns are? Okay. Autistic kids have these things called meltdowns. Autistic adults can have them too, trust me. I know this one. Take a situation, put yourself in a situation that you have no idea how to handle. You have almost no information in your head. And you're forced to do it. Now combine that with maybe you're tired, maybe you're hungry, maybe like other bad things are going on. You've got shit in the back of your head, be it mundane or severe. And things keep pushing on you, and you still can't do this one simple task. You still can't figure out this one simple thing, and it keeps pushing on you, and crap! You break. You shut down. You cry. You scream, because that's all you can do. This is what a meltdown is. This is not, I'm being a brat and I want my way. I am literally trying to scream out, fix this now, fix this, because I can't do it, but I can't verbalize it. I can't do anything about it. And the things I've done on the breakdown, I'm not violent. Some kids might be. You need to watch out for that. I cry. I scream. I wail. I'm howling. Or there are times I'll just completely shut down. I will just sit there, and the minute you speak to me, I'm set off. It is the accumulation of frustration. The higher functioning you are, the more severe the breakdown, I'm going to say, for me at least, but the harder it is to break down because you're learning and you know how to handle most situations. Lower functioning, obviously the breakdowns are probably a lot more often. You got to get the kid out of that situation, and you got to get them to calm down. And if you have a method of doing that, excellent. If you don't, find one fast. That is an autistic breakdown. It's not fun for the kid either, I can assure you. It is the ultimate call out of frustration. It is the ultimate call out of, I can't do this, I can't take this. And how the parent handles it should be how you judge it. Sometimes they can't get out of there, but if they're at least trying to calm the child down, don't be too hard on them. Now, if it's a kid whining because they're not getting a candy bar and the parent is just going, no, and like being very passive about it, then that's not a breakdown. That's the kid being a fucking brat. But if the kid is howling and wailing because of something, and it could be the candy bar that sets them off. It could be that this is a kid who didn't get enough sleep. They have autism. They didn't get enough sleep. Their entire routine. Routine's a big thing with autistic, by the way. Certain routine, and if it gets scrambled, the kid might start to get into that path of breaking down. So you have to be very careful when judging parents, too. The kid had his routine interrupted. Say he wanted today, okay, let's say you have this kid. They have the usual routine. Every Tuesday they wear a dinosaur shirt. Their favorite dinosaur shirt. And it's Tuesday, and their mom didn't do laundry because of something else that happened, and their shirt isn't clean, so they can't wear their favorite dinosaur shirt. Okay, they're already a little frustrated, if they didn't already break down just because of that. They're supposed to have their favorite breakfast, but they're out of that cereal. Oh, okay, and they're supposed to watch their favorite show, but mommy says, we have to get your cereal, so we have to go to the store during the time of their favorite show. And it's summer, so they're not at school at that point. So, okay, this kid's getting more and more and more frustrated. Because their routine is getting, diced up. And so far, the mother has actually been handling it because they haven't broken down yet. But they have that frustration. It's building. It's building. It's building. They don't have their favorite shirt. They didn't get their favorite cereal. They're now not going to watch their favorite show. It's building and building and building and building. You know, now they're stuck in this place that's loud and noisy and crowded and noisy, bad. I don't like it. What's wrong? This day sucks. Like, it's building and building and building. And obviously this is a fairly young kid, about 6. Just to give you, like, a visual here. So that, 6-year-old shit. Building. Okay, we got the cereal. Check on one. It's even more crowded. It's even more confined. Building. Hey, I always get a candy bar. Mom forgets the candy bar. Boom! That's it. That kid's done. They're melting the fuck down. That is what a meltdown is. That, just a 6-year-old. Now, I'm an adult. What does it take for me to melt down? Okay. Hurricane happens. Power is shut down in my house. Oh, this is not good. I can't do the internet. I have to have a crowded house because 2 people are in a more dangerous area, so don't have a lot of privacy. My husband isn't going to be home. I can't cook. I can't do the internet. Okay. Breathe. You'll be fine. This shit happens, Okay. I also got a plan for a Halloween party. Okay. I do this. I've done this under more duress. I've done this when I didn't even live in this house and it was in this house. I'll be fine. Hopefully there's going to be power. There's finally power, but there's no internet. I need the internet to let people know that there's going to be a party. Okay, it's been 3 days. What the fuck's going on here? Power and internet are usually hand in hand. Go through the fucking phone tree. Wait. My friends are trying to help. I still gotta clean the house. This is wasting my fucking time. Wait. Finally, internet's up. I still gotta clean the house. I gotta sort through some things. Half of it falls on the floor. Shut down. That built up over a week. Yeah. That's what it takes for me to melt down. One little thing sets it off completely, but other shit has been building and building and building and building and building and building and building. Most adults can handle it. They can de-stress it. They have ways of de-stressing it. Unfortunately, autistic kids and autistic adults don't always have those valves. They try, but sometimes... Hell, you want a more recent example after my trip to Russia? Okay. Here's the whole summer. I haven't melted down completely yet. The only time I actually howled was I was in royal pain, and that's kind of understandable. But I've pretty much decided if one more thing I was really close. To the point where I was telling my husband, just fucking let me cry on the plane, alright? I ain't waiting till I get home, just let me cry on the plane. Summer starts, I get the hole in my tooth. Okay? And I'm going through the rigmarole of getting it fixed in the background of all this. I've explained the rigmarole, I don't have to go into more detail on that. So already I got this frustration with the tooth. But, okay, this shit happens. Just gotta try and get it fixed. Then the barbecue comes in and I'm usually the one who's IDing. Somebody questions it again. This always happens, mini rant. Every time I ID somebody in an event that says I'm IDing you for alcohol, somebody always goes, you know me. They know I don't give special treatment. Somebody has to be a dumbass. I get pissed off. The end. And, somebody has to explain to them, if you don't show your ID, she isn't going to give you the wristband so you can get alcohol. You know this. Stop it. There's that. I'm still a little pissy about that. People wonder why I don't serve alcohol at my parties, because, as far as I'm concerned, that's fucking annoying. Okay. Before that, my father dies. And I have to deal with 99% of the stuff. I'm still dealing with it. But it's a lot less, but I'm still dealing with it. Goody goody fucking gumdrops. Then there's getting ready for my trip to Russia. I have to buy new clothes. I have to make sure I have everything packed. I have to go through the airport. Oh God, I hate this. Oh God, I have to go through the Russian airport now. Holy shit. That's a throwback to communist times, folks. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't speak the language. I have to lean on Sergey. Oh, where did this mysterious rash come from? Fuck, it's all over my body during this trip. Oh, I got dizzy in the shower because I didn't eat because I was jet lagged. I was jet lagged for 3 of the days. Okay, the medicine is messing with my stomach. The medicine for the rash, I should say. Okay, that's not working. I gotta stop taking it now. Yeah, build. There's also the fact that we have to clean out my dad's basement, and now we've got a flea problem because there were stray cats that my dad was trying to get to a shelter and never got a chance to. We get them to a shelter, it's a pain in the ass, it's a fucking rigmarole for my husband. Build! You're seeing where this is going. Okay, we are heading home to Russia. Ow! I can't eat for 8 hours. I can't drink for 8 hours. This is where I'm telling my husband on the plane, let me cry, let me scream, let me do something. I am in pain. I am upset. I'm about to kill somebody. No, you can't. No, you can't. Don't. We're in public. No, you can't. Build! Go to the dentist. One dentist office is closed. Gotta go to another. Build! It's boiling hot. Build! Now I have to get temporary work done. Hurts like hell. I gotta take medicine. Build a little bit. Go to the dentist. Hang on, you gotta get a blood test because of that weird rash. Build. I can't do it until we're absolutely sure. I'm waiting for the blood test. Build. Are you seeing? I'm pretty much got a lot of shit going on. The only thing I think that kept me from completely breaking down was that it was spread out over the summer. But it's still building and building and building and building. The fact I haven't really broken down completely yet is amazing. But I just keep getting this bad feeling that if one more horrible thing happens, I'm just going to break. I'm just going to break down and freak. Sorry for the personal rant, but this is trying to give you an idea of what an autistic breakdown is. It is literally a volcano waiting to erupt. So, and unfortunately, there's sometimes nothing you can do about it. You know, I can't do shit about any of this. None of this. You know, so you can't prevent them either, but you have to know how to deal with them. And you have to teach your kid how to deal with them. This became a over half an hour rant, didn't it? I figured I'd give my 2 cents on autism again because it kind of, why not? And I figured explaining what the breakdown is might help maybe a parent or two. Like, that's actually probably what it is. You know, the kid's getting a little stressed. As for how to handle it, well, one of the best ways is to find something that's guaranteed to distract the kid completely when they're upset. Or get them out of the situation and let them cry it out. And then talk about it later. Those are like the best ways to let them deal with it. Unfortunately, that really is the only way you can deal with it, is distraction or just letting it run its course. Because it is the breaking point. And it's really hard. And I sometimes have to hold them in, and it physically hurts to do it. That's why I was begging my husband to let me do it, because it just physically hurt to do it, and it really didn't help the situation. So yeah, until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!